So today I'm going on a big trip to go see all the different sites from Galloway and Dumfries down here in the southernmost part of Scotland. The first is going to be the Mull of Galloway, the southernmost part of Scotland, where there's this spectacular lighthouse which sits above these cliffs about 260 feet above the ocean. It's going to take me about an hour to get there, but there are a bunch of other sites to be seen around the area. So I'm going to go head down there now. This is what I'm going to need to do if I'm going to get all the content planning done for Scotland before we head to the US. So I better get moving because it's going to be a long day. So to get to Mull of Galloway, I had to drive about an hour southwest of Newton Stewart. Here I took the scenic route from Whithorn past Port William along the southern coastline to enjoy the views of the beautiful and extremely cold Scottish beaches. It was at this point I decided to stop at one of our favourite lookouts to take a look and see what the weather had in store for my trip today. Whoa, those Scottish winds. I can almost push my whole body weight into the wind that's coming off the southern coast here. And as you can see, you can barely hear anything through the microphone. But it is so pretty out here. Even though the beaches are essentially all full of rocks, there's only a little bit of sand. But I don't think it matters because no one's going to be swimming out here. This is autumn at the moment. I can't imagine how much cooler it'll be in winter. It's going to be really interesting once we get to the lighthouse on the top of the cliffs, how much windier it's going to be. And I really hope that I can get some photos and video, because currently I can't even hold the camera still, as you can see in the video, and that's in slow motion. So this is going to be really interesting going out today. It did say it was going to be windy. It was either a choice of having windy weather or having wet weather. I'm not sure which was the better choice, but it does make for some spectacular scenery because this water is so choppy out here. I'll show you right now. And yes, that's the whole car shaking at the moment. You know, I actually went to hide behind the car to see if I could get a better shot, but the whole car was shaking and it was actually making me move as well. There's actually a weight limit in this parking space as well, obviously because of that wind. I can see why, because if there was a truck on this bend, I could definitely see it getting blown over. As I continued my journey, the wind continued to rattle the car, but thankfully there was some sun. Another 40 minutes and I'd arrived at the Mull of Galloway. Man, it is cold out there. Every time I go out, I'm thinking that I'm going to be out there for just a moment to take a couple of photos, and I end up spending about 10 minutes out there. And coming in and my fingers, I can't feel them at the moment. I can't believe it gets colder than this up here. Just about to head up to the lighthouse. The views here are spectacular. The fields are so green. And the most amazing part about this is the panoramic view, which leads down this road that goes actually down to the Mull of Galloway Lighthouse, and makes for the most spectacular photos and videos. Because what happens is that there's so much overcast in certain sections, but then there's this sunlight that comes through in specific parts of the fields. Sometimes they hit the lighthouse, sometimes they hit houses, which makes for these amazing photos because it draws your focus to different parts of the image that you're trying to create. I've just stopped here on the side of the road before I finally head up, because there are so many different points that I want to take photos from, which you will be able to see on our Instagram pages or our blog. And in these kind of situations, I don't really know where to stop. Like, I feel like I need to stop everywhere, which is obviously not possible, but it's totally worth a shot because these views are all part of the experience. So we're finally here at the lighthouse. I'm parked just at the gate of the lighthouse, just above the coffee shop. There are quite a few other people here. I'm just sitting in the car now, and if you can see, the car is shaking quite violently. It is so windy and so choppy today. I've tried to get out a number of times to take photos, but I can't even hold the camera still. So this is the level of effort I'm going to get this car door open now because it's this windy. That's my entire body weight leaning into that door. The Mull of Galloway Lighthouse was originally built in 1830. This 26-metre tall beacon sits 99 metres above sea level. And on clear days, it presents visitors with stunning views of Scotland, Ireland, Isle of Man and Cumbria. From the car park I battled through the winds, which at points almost blew me over. As you can imagine, there are fewer visitors today, as even the benches didn't stand a chance against the ferocious winds. After a short walk around the grounds and struggling to stabilise my camera, I decided to head inside and purchase my ticket and head up the lighthouse. So I'm heading up the lighthouse now. It's so windy out there. It's like I've never felt anything like that strong before. So that was an awesome experience. I went up to the actual lighthouse, inside the lighthouse, because you can go up there for about £3, and you can go all the way to the top. It's 115 steps, and at the top you get to be inside the glass dome, which gives you this near 360 spectacular view of the entire coastline. From there you can see how windy and how choppy the ocean is, but apparently it's not always like that. So in summer it's quite beautiful, nice place to be. A lot of visitors come here. This summer in particular, when it was 40 degrees for those string of days, it did get up to 45 degrees, I got told by the attendant up there, which is insane because it is all glass. So she was just roasting in there, she just said, but she did actually come down quite frequently and let a lot of the visitors go up for short visits. In winter, they don't bother opening because there is no one coming to visit. And I can understand, because if this is autumn right now and it's this cold and windy, I can't imagine what it's like, even though it is the southernmost part of Scotland. From up there at that point, you're already about 260 feet above the sea level, and it just gives you this incredible view of basically everything around. So there's a helicopter pad, a visitor centre, and they do actually have accommodation there where you can stay the evening or a few nights, which is kind of cool, which I would probably recommend to come in some of the warmer months, because if you're coming when it's this cold and this windy, I couldn't actually see you doing anything else than staying inside with a glass of wine or eating or going to the cafe down here. But if you're coming to the south of Scotland, coming to Dumfries and Galloway, then I suggest that you come out here to Mull of Galloway, Lighthouse. There's something really, really special about it. It's so cool that you can go up there. And it is still a functioning and working lighthouse to this day. So definitely worth checking out, guys. So it was this point I'd had enough of getting blown around at the Mull of Galloway. So I decided to jump back into the car and head to my next destination, Dunski Castle. This was about a 30-minute drive north up the west coast. And wow, is this place worth a visit. I mean, come on, check this place out. Dunski Castle is a 12th century castle just located outside the town of Portpatrick. As I arrived, I immediately noticed this 14-metre high ruined castle sitting atop of the cliffs overlooking Castle Bay. The castle itself sits directly behind Castle Bay Holiday Park and has some amazing views. I had such a unique experience here as I could simply just walk up and into the castle. Here I explored the first and second floors, which gave me hundreds of great photo opportunities from inside and out. The castle does sit on the edge of the cliff and there is no railing, so if you're travelling with kids, make sure they're supervised at all times. And during my entire time here, the wind did not let up at all, which provided yet again another incredible Scottish experience. It was at this point I'd sadly realised that I'd spent too long at the Lighthouse and Dunski Castle, and with many stops along the way, the day had now seemingly passed. So I decided to head to the nearby Portpatrick for a quick look before the trip home. The quiet seaside town of Portpatrick dates back 700 years and showcases views of Northern Ireland. This town has some great views with its old lighthouse, cliffside walks, hotels and many pubs, making it a great place to stop for a visit or stay and enjoy a seaside getaway. Today was one of the many days I set out with a long list of sights to see. And more often than not, I'm so stunned by the locations that I find it hard to leave. So much so that I don't even get halfway through my list. A day well spent, I'd say.